Hello and welcome to another episode of Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzie and I'm joined with my co-host Sid. How's it going, Sid?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, not bad. A lot's been going on in the Champions League tonight. So we can quickly just sort of summarize that today. So it looks like that Manchester United are out currently. Is that right, Sid?
Yeah, so they're out. I think it is. I thought there could be stipulations, but I think even if PSG do lose their game to Istanbul, I can't say
Yeah.
the name, but whatever it is, I think they might go through still, but it just depends on the score, isn't it? But currently we're out of the Champions League. But a
Yeah.
quick roundup: Ole's rubbish. The team played rubbish. And it's very well deserved. So yeah, on to the next round. But
Whoa, that's brutally honest of you.
no, it's true. I got nothing more to say. They didn't deserve to go through based on that performance. So it's
Yeah.
shocking.
I was just saying to you off air, I actually didn't realize that Justin Kluivert signed for Red Bull Leipzig, so he scored, I believe, the last goal in the game. So, oh no, he scored the third goal for Leipzig. So yeah, that was a bit of a surprise when that came up on my score sheet. I was like, huh? I didn't know he signed for them. But yeah, so that was a bit of a surprise. So I'm not sure if the viewers are aware that there was a match postponed regards to PSG and Istanbul Başakşehir. I believe that's how you pronounce it. Due to some sort of racism incident before the game. So it was supposed to be restarted at 9 p.m., but I believe it hasn't gone through. So
I think it was during the game.
oh, was it during the game?
Yeah. I think there was an incident where I don't know what happened, but I just think the fourth official used a particular time, and yeah, it rattled the Istanbul one of the coaching members.
Yeah.
And then he got angry, and then Demba Ba got angry as well. And then rightfully they all decided to walk off the pitch.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, when it was meant to reconvene at 9 o'clock, because there wasn't many officials available to take the place of the fourth official, it would have meant the person who's in charge of the VAR would have had to swap with the fourth official. So a lot of the PSG and Istanbul players were just like, no, we don't want that. So I think that's why it's been postponed until further notice.
Yeah, it's such a shame because there's been so many incidents that's happened in the course of the last few days where you've got fans that are finally back in the Premier League, for example, or I should say English football, and then you've got Millwall fans who booed the players on the pitch as they were doing the protest that normally done for Black Lives Matter beginning of the game. So it's just been a bit of a crazy weekend, and for me, the officials in terms of FIFA, UEFA, FA, whoever is responsible for these kind of matches need to take some sort of action and punish. Obviously, fans have just been let into the stadium, but something needs to be done right now because it's becoming a bit too regular right now, and it's just out of order. So yeah, it's not the best way to start the show in terms of what's going on in the world, but it is what it is, unfortunately. I was watching the Barcelona game against Juventus. So I should have watched one of the British teams, but I was just like, yeah, I think this is more of an exciting fixture, if I'm honest with you. So that was quite a decent game. Barcelona actually quite frustrating to watch. Like they were doing good, like tippy-tap sort of football around, but there was no end product. And I believe the referee had quite an awful game as well regarding some decisions. The first penalty probably should have been a penalty. There was another incident before that with McKennie for Juventus, which was more of a stone cold penalty, in my opinion. The referee just had one of the games, and in fact, the VAR wasn't helpful in that aspect either. So overall, good game, good win for Juventus. But it goes to show that it's not just in the Premier League we're having issues with referee, and VAR is going across Europe now as well. So, so let's concentrate on the Premier League. I think it's probably right that we go to the first game. Is Spurs against Arsenal? What's with the chuckle there, Sid?
I'm joking. I don't know what can we say. We called this from the offset.
We did. We did.
We didn't see much beyond. I mean, to come from Arsenal, would we say walk in the park? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I think it was
Yeah.
more than deserved by Spurs. Arsenal, I just don't know what's going on. To be fair, um, you know, Son and Kane just their partnership is just next levels, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Højbjerg, he's in the midfield. He's just a class apart from most people.
Yeah.
And he's working well with Mourinho. Yeah, I just think one thing that I was confused about was the whole Partey injury.
Yeah.
Where he came off and then
He just
that
walked off.
yeah.
He's like, I've had enough. I'm off.
See you later.
You throw straight after as well. If I'm honest with you, I'm out there.
See you later, mate. But I just don't know, man. I found that a bit strange, and that allowed them to counter and then run up that pitch and score. So Arteta was fuming, but I just think it's a standard victory, and it goes back to what Roy Keane says. I think they'll have enough to stay up.
All right. In all seriousness, Sid, are Arsenal really in the relegation fight?
No. It's not that bad. Let's not.
Yeah.
No, we can joke, but I think when it comes to it, they're going to struggle. They'll finish in the top half for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just not working for them at the moment. And Arteta, unfortunately, it was a gamble, isn't it? They saw and felt that he was under Guardiola's tutelage and he would have picked stuff up, an old Arsenal player, and it was that fairy tale that they wanted. But nah. But would they keep him? I don't know. What do you think, though?
That's what I was going to ask you, because I don't think it's like I'm not saying he's not the. I think the problem is bigger than the manager, in my opinion. Like the way the club is run, it's just a shambles, like all over the place, literally. Yeah. Obviously, their recruitment in the summer wasn't the best. I think in terms of Gabriel, he looks a decent signing, so he's done well as he started his career at Arsenal. Willian, for me, was just like a bit like, why did you sign Willian? Like it was just like one of those ones. Like I'll be honest with you, I think he was linked to both Liverpool and Man United. And both of us were like, good riddance. Like we didn't get him for our clubs because it's not a signing that you would get excited by. Not saying he's not a good player or anything, but I think he's at this stage where he's probably just playing for the next paycheck. If I'm honest with you, technically good and everything, but he's not the right player to kind of move you forward as a club. And that's the kind of signings they needed at the time, where they'll take the team to the next level. We've been speaking about this fella the last 2-3 weeks. Ozil's MIA. There's rumors today he's actually possibly joining Fenerbahce in January.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm not sure on what sort of terms it is, but that's the current reports regarding him. And obviously, for Arsenal, they have to sell him. If he's not going to play, there's no point in having someone on the bench. It's not on the bench. Sorry, he's not even on the bench. In terms of like paying that salary, like that can be used to finance another player coming in. So, yeah, if I'm honest with you, with regards to Arsenal fans, they just have to be patient. I know it's probably like something they've been hearing for the last God knows how many years, but it's a big project. Like it's probably the toughest job in the probably European football, if I'm honest with you, probably alongside Barcelona. I think so, because look at Barcelona. They're like 9th in the league. They lost on the weekend against Cadiz, I think the team is. And they're like 3 points off relegation as well. So they're in kind of similar stages, I think, in terms of this season, not overall, because I think Barcelona's downfall has been in the last couple of years, possibly. Whereas Arsenal, it's been ongoing for a long time, I would say. But yeah, I think obviously with Barcelona, their situation is more of a thing where Koeman's kind of coming as a stopgap for Xavi whenever the presidential elections happen, which I believe is in January.
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I don't know why are they waiting so much for Xavi. I don't understand. Like, what has he proven?
I don't know, mate.
Because that could be like another Arteta situation.
Yeah.
of course he's sorry, no offense, but of course he's going to do well in United Arab Emirates or whatever it is, wherever he's managing. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, but you haven't got that experience with quality players, the demands of like high quality leagues and all of that. So I just think, is this a mistake?
It's kind of similar to when United recruited Ole. So it was a thing where, because the club's at such a sort of like a unstable moment right now, and the fans are getting distressed as well. It's a thing where if they appoint someone like Xavi, it'll uplift all of them in terms of their support for the team, and they might see, or maybe give him a chance. The way Chelsea have kind of presented for Frank Lampard, where club legend, like if he doesn't do well next season, they'll give him a chance for another year or maybe 2 years later because of his status at the club. So it might be just something where they're like, Xavi's the guy right now, because let's be honest, there's not many people out there to recruit in terms of management at a higher caliber as well. And obviously, if you've got a former legend, that's probably someone that they'd probably want to look into. So Barcelona is just like another situation. But back to the Arsenal Spurs game. For me, Spurs fully deserve to win the way they controlled the game. I've heard a lot of stuff in the media where people are, oh, it was such a boring performance, or Mourinho back to being like, old Mourinho, where he sets his team out where he scores and then they play defensive. That's football. You have to deal with teams like that. His success has been around that, where his attack is so strong that they can afford to score 1 or 2 goals and they play defensive second half. That's game management. That's what we call it. So it's not all of, like, you don't get points for playing the best football. There's no bonus points for that, So it's not fancy football, So it is what it is. It's a results game, and they're doing really well. So you can't knock that off in that aspect. So fully deserved for Tottenham. They maintain their position top of the league. So we got on the top of the league. We can speak about Liverpool. So Liverpool won 4-0. What can I say? What game? I won't speak too much in terms of like the actual goals or anything, because there's a few players that I feel like I haven't spoken about in my reviews in the past week. So one player I'd like to mention is Curtis Jones. So he's been quite regular for the Liverpool team, and for me, a youngster who's just literally broken into the team has just been phenomenal. And players such as Naby Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain, I know they've been injured, but they should be very wary of their position, because right now, for me, he starts ahead of most midfielders in our club. That's how well he's done, in my opinion. Yeah. So if it was a fully fit team, for example, obviously we've got a lot of injuries. We get injuries literally every game. So the first choice for me automatically would be, well, I'll say Fabinho, but I said last week as well that he's a centre back in my opinion this season now. So it would be Henderson and it would be Thiago. And it'll be Wijnaldum, but then you've got Curtis Jones as the next person in line. Like, I wouldn't put Naby Keita or Oxlade-Chamberlain ahead of him. That's how great he's been this season. So credit to him. I'm really excited when I see him on the pitch. So there's a lot of areas where he can improve, but he's young. He's only 18, 19. So he's got a lot in his locker where you will see the more he plays, the more he develops as well as time goes on. So literally my team of the week that we do every week, Sid, could literally be a full Liverpool 11. That's how great I thought a lot of players were. A special mention I'd like to give is to our goalkeeper. So young goalkeeper that made his Champions League debut last week, but also his Premier League debut. Obviously 4-0, so you're like, oh, probably didn't have a lot of work to do during the game. But the way he played, he made 0 errors whatsoever. Like, he looked so comfortable and accomplished in the sticks that literally you've forgotten about a certain Adrian in the squad, because he looked so like confident the way he was playing. So
what about Carriers?
Karius is out of the window. We don't talk about him anymore. He's gone now. Yeah. So another youngster who's come in as well. And obviously you have to realize with our injuries as well, most teams that don't have their first choice regular centre-back pairing and the midfielders that we've got out, a lot of teams will struggle. We could literally field an injured 11. Like, that's how many injuries we have right now.
It's quite a lot. You don't realise that.
No, we've got lots of injuries, and we've had to blood in our youngsters from the reserve team. So 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, and each and every one of them have been phenomenal. So it's credit to Klopp. He's built a winning mentality at the club, and players that come in as well, they don't feel too overawed when they play for the first team. They feel comfortable. So that's another testament to the experienced players that we have at Liverpool as well, where they've open armed the youngsters when they come in and they can just play their game without worrying about too much pressure in terms of performing. As long as they play as a team, they'll be fine. So yeah, I was excited to watch that game. There's a lot of positives to take. Salah was probably the man of the match as well. I think Robertson got it officially from was it Ali McCoy. He was doing a commentary on Amazon Prime. So obviously slight biases there, but Robertson for me has been, in my opinion, the best Liverpool player this season. He's played every game, and not only because of that, he's just been phenomenal in terms of the way he's played. So he was injured a couple of times in the last couple of weeks, but he's just literally just showed it on and he just played very well. So yeah, I can't speak. I can speak so much highly about my team, but I don't want to take up the whole show. But yeah, very very impressed with the way the team performed, and Genie as well. For me, another star performance from him, and that goal was just amazing. Like that was like watching the Holland Genie, isn't it? The way he just ran forward and scored.
Because you can argue Genie in Holland, he's still effective for Liverpool, but it's like he's a different player for Holland, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
he plays slightly different roles. So at Liverpool, he plays more as sort of like a number 6/number 8, where he's been used to control the midfield more. Whereas when he plays for Holland, he's got a free role, so he tends to make more runs. Like he's like a number 8/number 10, where he's got more freedom to go up top. That's why he gets so many headers and so many like tap-ins here and there for Holland. So for me, a message to my club is literally give Ginny a contract, man. He needs a contract. Like they need to stop waffling around. Give the guy a contract. He fully deserves it. I don't care how old he is. Like, look at the way he performs. He's definitely one of our best players and has been consistently for the last few years as well. Like he never gets injured, so you have to take that as a plus point as well. So yeah, so that's my message to my club there. So moving on to your club, Sid. So West Ham versus Manchester United. Give me your thoughts on the game.
it was a good game. I think it's further highlighted in today's game as well. I'm just tired of us conceding first. Like, we defend so badly, and it's like we need the other team to score first for us to wake up, But yes, it's great that we can come back and secure the points and the victories and all that. But you just think, is it really necessary? Everyone's like, oh, we've won our first 5 away games of the season. Let me tell you something. Yeah, I can't stand these stats. It means nothing to me. It means zero. Yeah, everyone's just like, oh, we're the first team to have won so many away games at the start. And I'm just like, okay, but we're still fourth. What does that mean? Does that make sense? It's like, if you're swashbuckling in your performance and everything's playing and going well and you're top of the league, no one's in catching you, then you can start reeling off these facts because it's significant. It's got weight to it,
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. But, United, I think credit where due, isn't it? Because he made some good substitutions at half time. That changed the game, Fernandes, Pogba, and I was happy with that. But I still think, you can't be doing that against the big clubs because unfortunately they will punish you, and I like it that we have got reserves and we can, change the games, but it's too risky for me. And I just think we've still got a game in hand. And when you look at it, if we was to win our next 2 games, which is going to be difficult because it's against Man City, but beat them and then our next game in hand would be against Villa, we're not that far off the top.
No.
So it just shows you how the quality isn't there this season in the Premiership, I don't think. You got to give props to Liverpool because obviously their whole squad is just depleted with injuries and all of that, but they're still up there. But I don't think it's the same quality period across the league. So, but yeah, United, I mean, look, it's a good game, but it doesn't excite me. It's not where I can give much credit, because I think these are the games that you should be winning anyway. You know, you shouldn't be in those positions where you're clawing back the game or you're securing the points late on. Great, okay. Do this at the start, manage the play, and then play good football so people can actually see what you're about. Do you see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's it. But yeah, I mean, look, good performance. I'm happy that we got the points, and that's what I care about. We got 3 points. Scrappy game, fine. But if we win, we win. You know, if it counts towards something at the end of the season, I'll take it.
Yeah, but I understand your point because you don't want to be known as that team where you have to be behind to get a reaction out of the players. It should be a thing where it's set out from as soon as the game starts. You don't want
Yeah,
to be known as comeback kings for not like for every game. Like
yeah,
sometimes it's good if if you're playing a difficult game where for some reason the team have just scored and then you have that mentality to come back and win. That's different. But if you're doing this every game, for me, that shows that the team hasn't been set up correctly in the beginning for you to make an effect and score goals at the first half, for example. So yeah, it's been yeah. I would agree. I think it's a good win for your team, but some of the reactions regarding some of the performances were a bit over the top. So I think I sent you a clip where there was a YouTuber that said that Pogba's the best DM because of that performance that he had. And I don't know, there's one or two other wild statements that were made.
Rashford better than Mbappe.
Yeah,
I think anyway. It's Christmas is coming. I don't want to be rude, but it's just people are just. I don't know what is happening upstairs, because
yeah.
I'm not even saying Rashford can't be on his level soon or is far away from Mbappe, but
Yeah. Nah,
to
nah,
say
he's
he's
not.
better
He's
than
far.
Mbappe,
He's far away, man. Mbappe's
he's
elite.
not. He's not far away, because I don't think he's far away. It's just different, isn't it? You know, and I think
Yeah.
Mbappe. This is the age-old thing. Could he do it in a Premiership? It's questionable, isn't it? You know, we don't know.
Well,
He's not here.
he might be at Liverpool next year, so we'll see. We'll soon find out. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
anyway, yeah. But no, I mean, yeah, some of these guys are a bit far-fetched, isn't it?
Yeah, but it happens when your team's won in that sort of fashion. So fans do get that sort of overall emotion. So I understand that. But
Mm.
one thing that sort of was bizarre news straight after the game, and especially leading up to such an important game for your team this week, is Paul Pogba. So his agents come out saying that his United career is over and they're looking to leave soon, like possibly next month, in fact. I'd like to get your thoughts on the way the news is broke, and your stance on this sort of views coming from an agent. Like it's a bit rare that an agent comes out speaking so publicly about their client like this after such a good performance, and he's actually playing a bit better now as well. So, what are your thoughts on that?
I think his agents actually shot himself in the foot, because
Mm.
I think previously these things would have been said with the hope that it would have put them, well, given them the upper hand in contract negotiations, because
Yeah,
obviously we're trying to negotiate an extension to Pogba's deal, you know,
yeah,
and previously Pogba stated that he wants to stay. And you're right, after Saturday's game, I
yeah,
do believe, it highlighted, what importance he can have to us sometimes, and what he does bring to the team. But unfortunately, and this will answer your question, I think it's time he went, because we're not going to be held ransom by Paul Pogba. Pogba is not Rooney of old, where Rooney could warrant such issues. You remember when he was like pushing for a Chelsea move and there was
yeah,
uncertainty whether he was going to sign a deal? That was when we could be like, oh gosh, let's take note, because Rooney's our star player. He's consistent. He brings everything to the team. Paul Pogba, go, my friend. Like it's time, and I just think this is the changing times of football, where a lot of the emphasis is taken away from the actual pitch. Whether we talk VAR, whether we're talking about money, whether we're talking about agents, the whole footballing aspect is, going down. So I think the agent, he's got previous, and I think that's why a lot of people stay away from him.
Yeah.
and his players. Unfortunately, his players could be itching for a dream move, but they won't get it because nobody wants to work with that agent. How do you get 10 million by negotiating or agreeing a deal?
He got
That
30 for the Pogba deal.
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
regardless, I'm saying on average you're getting
He's
10
getting
million.
on average, yeah.
Yeah, and it begs the question: how has it come to this? First of all, is it only going to get worse? And what does actual Pogba say in the situation? Does he
Yeah.
actually want to leave, or is he being, I hate to say it, but poisoned by Mino?
Mm.
And I think it's time. I don't really rate Carragher too much, and all of that, but his comments was just comical. He was just like, oh, he's the most overrated player on the planet. It's time he left, and I agree with him.
Mm.
I don't see what Pogba brings us on a regular. The
Yeah.
fact that he doesn't start, yes, he's had injuries, but he's not Pogba that we hoped he would be. And cut losses, get rid of him, get him off the wage bill. Van der Beek's there, that's a good replacement for me. So I will not miss Pogba at all.
Yeah. I think with Carragher's comments I think it was yesterday he made those comments.
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with the rivalry between the two clubs. I feel
No,
like
no, no.
he's been frustrated in terms of talking about Pogba, especially alongside Gary Neville, where Gary Neville's always defending Pogba, and it's like one week you're like, oh, he hasn't played in his best position, or when he does play, oh, he's not fit enough, or respect him, he's a World Cup winner, or like there's always excuses for Pogba, like why he hasn't performed yet. But at the end of the day, it's been how many years, Sid? Now 4 years he's been at the club.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
it's just not happened. So it's nothing towards Paul Pogba or anything like that. Sometimes it just doesn't work out, and it is what it is, kind of thing. So you just have to be honest and say, look, it hasn't worked out. It probably suit both parties that he moves on. I'm sure he'll get interest from other clubs. I'm not sure in terms of where. Like I can see teams like Real Madrid, possibly PSG, and maybe a return to Juventus. But
Mm,
in this current climate, I don't even know if those kind of clubs can afford a player of Pogba's stature because of the finances around it. Would be, it would be literally big moves for these clubs where
mm,
salary brackets and all sorts will need to be broken to get that player into their club. Um, so yeah, it's a tricky one for me. Personally, the agent that he's represented by, from what I know in terms of Liverpool, we don't have any players that are represented by that agent because Klopp's had previous experiences with that agent. I think in his Dortmund days, so he knows he's probably the worst person to deal with. And it's a thing where he's like, all right, fine. If you're represented by that agent, unfortunately, I can't sign a player like that because it's bigger than just signing a talent. When you sign players, it's about the person as well at the same time as well. So if you're represented by someone who's got such a bad press amongst his peers and also anyone involved in football, like
mm,
even fans, we know he's a terrible agent. Like he's money hungry. We all know it. We can all see it. So it's just a thing where like Haaland's represented by him,
mm.
unfortunately, and I would love
Yeah.
to see Haaland at my club, but we wouldn't get him based on who his agent is. Unfortunately,
Mm.
it is what it is. So, and that's probably you mentioned it a couple of weeks ago. It's the reason why United didn't end up signing him because of the relations regarding Pogba's
Mm.
current status there at the club. So it's just one of those ones where I don't know, like personally, I'm just a neutral in this. I don't really know the dynamics in terms of their relationship, like player agent, like are they close or whatnot. But Paul needs to think about his career right now, where it's not worked out, and if his agent's just doing moves to make money, it's not for his self-interest; it's for his own pocket. So
Mm.
Paul Pogba needs to think a bit more seriously now in terms of what he needs to do, because if he trusts his agent, fair play, do what he needs to do. But at the minute, your career's been at a standstill, in my opinion. When you're at Juventus, for me, that's when you can say this is a world-class talent or someone that is set to be that next big player, but it hasn't worked. So it is what it is, I think, in terms of Paul Pogba. So we can leave it at that. Um, so let's move on to Chelsea. So another win for Chelsea
Mm.
against Leeds United, who for me have always performed well and played some good football as well during the game. So it was a difficult game for Frank Lampard's side. So what did you think of the game overall?
Yeah, I think it was good. I think it was good. I was actually quite surprised at how well Chelsea played, to be fair, against a strong Leeds United team. I certainly thought when Bamford scored, it would be where they shut up shop, and not really shut up shop, but it would be where they limit Chelsea's opportunities.
Yeah.
But I think, credit where due. Giroud for me is probably their best striker, like actual finisher. Um, Werner, he played good. Mason Mount is continuing to show
Yeah.
like star quality. I just think Liverpool, yeah, sorry, Chelsea are more clinical, and to be fair to them, the Leeds United goalkeeper kept them in that game.
Yeah, Meslier, he's a good keeper.
Yeah, he saved a lot of chances,
Yeah.
and I think credit has to be given to him because it could have been like a greater score. But props to Chelsea. I mean, they are starting to play good. You know, whether this can be consistent throughout the whole season, I'm not sure. But
Yeah,
definitely in terms of this game, I can't really fault them. Their defense is looking solid.
mm,
They got Ziyech. He's very attack minded and he's always a
yeah.
constant threat. And even though he missed that sitter, you can see what he brings
We
to
need
the
to talk
game.
about that, Sid. We need to talk about that. What an awful, awful miss.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
the worst miss I think I've ever seen, Sid.
It,
And I'm sure we've seen some shockers.
yeah, it's embarrassing, but you know what? Like, no, do you know what? Let me not lie. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing, isn't it? Like he can't. You can't not have that brought up in the end of season bloopers or whatever. Do you know?
Yeah.
Where they look back at this season because I think that was just terrible.
I love
You
the
know,
way you try to justify, like, he tried. Nah, yeah, it was
nah,
terrible.
it's
I
terrible.
can't vouch for it.
I can't. But are you happy that you didn't get him? Basically,
Um, I still rate him as a player, so I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, he's not that good because he didn't join my club. I still rate him as a player. I think he's going to take a bit of time to get used to playing at this level because, so for example, this game he had a lot of chances to score, and he made some
mm,
like chances where you've probably seen him convert in Germany. Like
mm,
his game hasn't quite clicked. Where I think normally in Germany he has a bit more composure when he's 1-on-1 with the
yeah,
keeper. Whereas right now he seems quite rash. So I think that'll come in time, and I think he'll be a bit more clinical. But yeah, he takes quite a few chances to score.
before he,
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And you know how it is in this league. Like there's some games where you literally get one chance or two chances, and then you need to take it with both hands. So right now that's going to be the key because um, even though I quite rate Giroud is one of those players where he can have an off day as well, which is probably why he doesn't start whenever he's at a club. Obviously, France is different because it's more international football, it's more tournament based.
mm,
But that's probably been a question mark on Giroud that he's not very consistent. But obviously, what he
mm,
brings to the team is completely different to any other players. Tammy Abraham can score goals, but he's not consistent. So
mm,
their goal scores are good goal scores, but they're not consistent. So that's the difference between that level to elite levels, where you've got players like, well, I was going to use Aubameyang, but that's not the right example at this stage. But players like Salah, Mane, like who are consistent when it comes to goals. Um, so that would be a big factor, I think, against the big teams when they go through the season, but also further down the line where right now games are going to be thick and fast as well. So maintaining their sort of fitness levels at the same time would be a tricky one, in my opinion.
no, but to be fair, they have got good quality strikers.
They do, yeah,
And there is that ability to rotate, but like you said, it's not where you're gonna have, oh, Giroud's not playing. Oh, I know Tammy's gonna score for
yeah. It's fine margin.
guarantee.
Mm,
You know,
yeah, I
and
agree.
that's the problem.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just those fine margins where if like I said, if the Drew's out, yeah, Abraham comes in, but is he going to make that same impact? Is he going to get that clinical goal that Chelsea need to win the game, for example, like during
Mm,
a tight period? Like, is he going to get the winner for us? So obviously he's a young player, so time will tell in regards to that. But yeah, I would agree with you in terms of their squad. I think they've got quality all round. To be honest with you,
Mm.
even the goalkeeper's been a great signing. I think
Yeah.
me mentioned that previously, and their defense looks solid. Like it,
Zuma.
it kills me to admit it, but Thiago, when he signed, I was like, oh, a bit old, but he was the kind of signing that I wanted Liverpool to get, like for 1 year, for example, because it's like he'll come in with like such wealth of experience, like it will rub off on like the other players in the team, and you've got someone who's done it all on the bench, so whenever you need him, he's there. But he's at a Chelsea team playing every week now, so credit to him. He's done really well at the club. Their fullbacks are ever improving as well in Chilwell and Reece James. So Kante is playing a little bit better now as well from previous,
Yeah.
because he's playing in his more familiar position now. So it's
Yeah.
good to see that, in my opinion. So
This is
so
the thing. Yeah.
so onwards and upwards for Chelsea. So
Sorry.
fully deserved their win over the weekend. So the final fixture we'll talk about is the Man City one. So not much to talk about, if I'm honest with you, because it's kind of straightforward in terms of the result, right? KDB started the show as always, and Raheem Sterling back as well from injury. Played really well, scored a goal as well at the same time. So pretty standard victory, you say?
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at it and I was looking at things to discuss and even flag. I mean, I think again, this is a game where I think Man City should have scored more. To be fair, they wasn't clinical. The right back had a good game. I think Cancelo, I think last season was just like a good introduction for him, and he's like, slowly showing his worth. But I can't really say too much beyond that. Man City is a standard victory. No offense, but it's Fulham, isn't it? So
yeah,
it was a
they
standard
they
victory
have.
in that.
The only thing I'll say for Fulham, they have improved their performance levels in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, this result didn't pay off for them, but at least on their side, at least they can see improvements in their team. Where I believe they beat Leicester last week, didn't they? So
Yeah, 2-1. Yeah, which is really
so
good.
yeah, which is good for them. So at least that will give them a bit of confidence. This fixture would always be like a you try your luck and see what happens kind of thing. It wasn't a guaranteed result game for them, but yeah, I've been standing for City, so we'll see how their next week pans out. Obviously, they've got another fixture with their rivals, which we'll talk about later in the show. But we can do our team of the week. So, Sid, I'm hoping there's not like a United 11. Like I could easily got a Liverpool 11 out, but I thought let me be a bit more modest here.
Let me just bring up my team.
I might come with a selection. You're like, oh, Sid, you're Ozzy, you're biased again. So, but yeah, we'll see how it goes. So, firstly, what formation have you selected for your team of the week?
I actually did 4-2-3-1.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, who have you selected as your goalkeeper of the week?
Henderson.
Henderson? What?
No, I'm joking. Why can't I have Henderson?
Play for United? Oh, God.
No, it was a tie-up between. It was a close one between Pope and the Leeds guy, Meslier. But I went for Pope in the end. Yeah. What about you?
That was a good shot, actually. For me, it was a difficult one, but I've gone for Kelleher for Liverpool, just because of him being such a young player as well. But he just never looked out of place in terms of the way he played. Like I was impressed with him at Ajax. No, but seriously, because if you watch like Match of the Day and all that, everyone spoke quite highly of him. So yeah, I was just impressed in terms of maturity in his game. Like only 18, 19. So I feel comfortable knowing that we have a keeper in our ranks like that rather than breaking the bank in January for another goalkeeper or next summer. So for me, he's well equipped to be number 2, in my opinion. So
He's young as well.
Yeah, young. So he's got plenty of time and he'll get lots of games because of the way Liverpool play. We have to play so many games in different competitions, and Alisson unfortunately does have that in him where he might have a few injuries here and there. So it's good to have a keeper where you have that trust. Whereas I think all Liverpool fans can vouch as well. Whenever Adrian plays, for example, I'm not the most confident when I see him. Like even when he kicks the ball, like literally my heart is like in my mouth right now. So it's not how you want to watch your team play. But so that's why I've gone for Kelleher. But for me, Pope was the next in line. I think he had a really good week, and made a lot of saves that could have given Everton the win in the weekend. So So yeah, it was out of the two for me. So I've gone for Kelleher. So you've got 4 defenders. So who's your left back?
I've actually gone for your boy Robertson. I guess we don't need to speak about that for you. So on to the next one.
I think I'm quite highly of him. So yeah, you can move on to your right back.
Cancelo.
Cancelo. Yeah, you mentioned him earlier on as well.
Mm.
Who's your 2 centre backs?
Who did you have? You had him as.
So I've got 3 defenders. So I've got Robertson on my left side. I had to add him there. Like for me, I know he's not a centre back, but come on now, he's just started the show right now. So I've gone for Vestergaard for Southampton in my centre of the heart of my defence. He's been phenomenal for the last few weeks. You got him as well?
Yeah.
Good. Like he's just been amazing for Southampton, and like even just the way he plays as well. Like he's got such great ability on the ball. Made so many passes. I think the penalty that they got in there was from a long pass that he made, and obviously his bullet header as well was just like icing on the cake. And he's been quite helpful in terms of set pieces. He scored quite a few goals already this season. So yeah, one of the star performers, I think I would say in the Premier League, to be honest with you. And his partner it will be Alderweireld for Tottenham. For me, he's been quite consistent last few weeks. And I think the game against Arsenal as well, you can just see his dominance as well. Like he adds such they seem so composed in the back. I think that's because it comes from him, where it's that leadership qualities that he has. And like no one seems to panic. Like no offense, I think Arsenal weren't really troubling Tottenham in the first half, but second half they had a lot more possession. But Tottenham just never looked out of trouble. Like they just felt so comfortable in possession with him in the team. So that's why I've gone for Alderweireld in my team. So who are your 2 centre back?
Yes, I had Vergestad and then Alderweireld as well.
Oh, you got the same ones. All right, cool. Yeah. Fair play. So you've gone for 4-2-3-1. So who's your 2 midfielders?
I've gone for Højbjerg and then De Bruyne.
Okay.
What about you?
I've gone for Gini Wijnaldum.
Surprise.
He's got to do that.
Yes.
For me, it was just the goals or the way he scored it, and his performance didn't do anything wrong, in my opinion. So for me, I had to add him in my team. Like I know I've got a bit of little Liverpool biasness in there, but for me, it just had to be done. I've got Eze from Crystal Palace again. So I've had him like I think a couple of my selections, but I was really impressed the way he played, because I think it was Zaha's first game back as well, and you can see the way these two have linked up in their play. Well. Like he adds something different into that team. Where I'm not sure if you remember when he first signed for Palace, I said that's an unusual signing for Palace, because they normally go for that safe signing where it's a midfielder with experience, where they've gone for a youngster who's about to maybe be that next big thing, in my opinion. So he's quite an adventurous player, and he adds something completely different to that team. Creativity from a midfield that they probably never had in a number of years. So yeah, and like for me, he was just really, really good. And then obviously gave an assist as well for Zaha. So I was quite impressed with him. So that's why I've got him in my team of the week. So you're free. Other midfielders, who do you have?
It's a weird one because it's not your conventional front three, but I had to fit him in. So I've gone for Mount, Fernandes, and Zaha. And typically you would have Mount in Fernandes' position, but I think I was just pleased with Fernandes and the impact he had coming on. You know, and Mount, like I said, I think he gets a lot of stick because a lot of people think that, you know, he's a teacher's pet and, you know, both for England and Chelsea. You know, they think, you know, it's either Grealish should be in there or, you know, when Maddison's free, back from injury, he should be in there. But you got to give him credit. And, you know, slowly I'm seeing, you know, good performances from that Chelsea squad. So credit where due. But yeah, that's my front three. What was your setup?
Yeah, just regards to Mount as well, I've been quite impressed with him. I did like him last season as well. And he's a player where he can play in different positions as well. And he doesn't look out of place. So he can play deeper as a sort of number 8. But he can play out wide as well on the left and can play as a number 10. So he's a great squad player as you have. So I think, his performances over the weekend showed that as well. I didn't have him in my team, but it was quite close. I found this one to be quite a tricky selection. So I've gone for Zaha on my left wing, and I put Son, who doesn't normally play number 10, can play that position, but I had to fit Son in just because of, for me, he's just been unbelievable in the last few weeks this season.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, in this season in general, not in the last few weeks, he's just been unstoppable. And I've had to put my man Mo Salah on the right wing. Got assists, got a goal as well. Like, come on now, you can't knock that off.
How many is that? So you got the goalkeeper, you got the left back, and you've got Genie and then Salah. Okay.
Listen, we won 4-0. We've got that, I know Crystal Palace won 5-1, but we got one of the highest scoring scoreline over the weekend. So it's expected to have a few of those players in the team,
Yeah. For real. Yeah. Of course. So who have you got up front? Is it a Liverpool player as well? Or
Oh, no, it's not Liverpool. Who do you have up front?
Kane. I put Master Kane.
So I've got two strikers. So I've got Harry Kane, and I've added Benteke to my team. I think there's no need for that, Sid. Come on now.
That's a Benteke.
Yeah. Because it's been I feel sorry for him, like he's not a bad player, so it's been a while since he's been on the score sheet, and he got 2
He's
in
not
one
a bad
game.
player.
He's not a bad player. Come on now, he's not a bad player.
I don't know. Let me not start. But yeah,
he's not a bad player. So I do feel for him that he's not really had sort of that rubber luck since he's been at Palace. So I think 2 goals over the weekend, I think deserves to be in the team of the week. So that's why I've gone for him in my selection.
Solid team though. Still
solid team. It's good. I feel like I have to switch up my formations because so many star performances in midfield nowadays. So it's just like it's hard. Like there were so many players I had. Like I had like a long list before I could even put a formation out because so many good performances. Like Fernandes was one as well that I wanted to add, but I thought Eze for me just stood out a bit more because of the way Crystal Palace played. Whereas Fernandes, not to kind of take advantage of, but we expect it from Fernandes the way he plays for United. But Eze for me has been ever improving, so I thought he definitely has to be added in my team. But yeah, it's been one of those weeks where there were a lot of star performances. So regarding star performances, how have you done in your fantasy team?
I think I got 60 points. Yeah, but I'm still not moving up. How about you?
Yeah, I think because of my poor performance last week, I've literally stayed more or less around the same position. So I'm still 20th, which is like, for me, it's disappointing because I was third 2 weeks ago. So I'm just trying to I'm literally basically relegation zone in my eyes. So yeah, that's a big downfall. Like being Champions League, all of a sudden, boom, relegated. So yeah, it's been a tricky one. But so we actually have for the first time joint manager of the week. So there's 2 guys in our team, in our league, that have got very high points. So Daniel Dwamina, again, who's I believe number 1 right now. He got 95 points, and another gentleman named Kwame Levels, I think he's trying to set the levels here with 95 points here as well. So congrats to both Daniel and Kwame there. That's high performance there, isn't it? Like,
that's very high.
Points, so I'm a bit like, my God,
what's going on?
So no, so credit to the 2 guys there. Especially Daniel is still top of the league, so he's maintaining his position there. So preview to match week 12. So the biggest game this week is the Manchester Derby, Sid. So give me your thoughts and give me a prediction. How do you think he'll pan out?
I don't think either team is playing exceptional. Haven't been many standout performances of the season for both. I think it's the first time where we'll probably go into it equal.
Yeah.
You couldn't really call it. I'm going to have my Man United hat on and go for 2-1 to United. City's strong, don't get me wrong, but I think United's just got that a little bit more now anyway. But what about you?
I think it will be sort of like a cagey encounter, if I'm honest with you. I'm not expecting to see a lot of goals. I think considering the result from today's Champions League draw where United lost, I don't think Ole would have that mentality where he'd want to go all out in terms of attacking wise against one of the main rivals in the league. So I can see it being like a 1-1 score. I can see it being a draw. But yeah, I don't see a lot of goals in my opinion. What we will see, and that might be like 5-0 or something. I'm kind of like to eat my words, but yeah, I'd go for a 1-1 result there. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how that pans out. So guys, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to our channel. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some more content. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Take care, guys.
Take care, guys. Thank you.